I'm gone. Yeah.
Good
Not
morning.
even anyone danced. Oh.
Ho ho. Ho ho ho. Here we go, straight off the bat. Good morning, everybody. I caught Karl somewhat unawares there. Let's get an introduction going, boys. We'll get into it. Eh?
Hi, this is Don Matteo, and you are listening to the Ought to Know Better podcast. Let's do this.
Leeds are shit.
We're recording, you know.
Oh, shit.
We had a good start. I don't think we've got the personnel.
You can fucking laugh all you want, you absolute bellend.
I think about things. That's why you lot are idiots.
A melted version of a dick that's been shrink wrapped.
The absolute elite shithousery of this.
It is the Sunday Club, and I'm your host, Smarty. I'm joined by the freshly dug up Karl.
Bullshit.
Somewhat dishevelled and very yellow looking this morning, Gilly. How are you, gents? Are you both well?
It's all yellow, isn't it?
And it was all yellow.
You good, lads?
Yeah.
You know.
Have you had a nice weekend? You had a nice weekend.
I went for a lovely curry. I went for the love of the curry last night. It's just a shame about the company.
All right, yeah. I can imagine you went with the right set of bastards.
Yeah, absolutely.
We
One in
left it
particular.
till today, the Berardi and Cook show today, because everyone was streaming yesterday. So we thought, we'll stick to the Sunday morning club and we'll crack on. Have you two seen Mr. Wilder's comments about the game yesterday? Before we get into the nitty gritty,
Friday.
I saw
a
Friday night. 3-minute talk he did to a camera that was quite complimentary about us, which is, to be fair. Given the barrage of abuse that he got from all and sundry in the ground, he's quite a thing actually, because he came across actually almost like he's human.
Yeah, and he's humble actually sometimes.
Yeah,
it was a great night to be had by all actually. You know, children were singing "Wilder is a wanker" in the stands and everything. It was great. It was great to be part of.
But I've at times as well.
Absolutely. I saw the 3-minute, 4-minute clip, and then I watched his actual sit-down conference as well afterwards, and it was very, very complimentary. I half expected him to say that the ref had a shocker and we were given everything, and the usual tripe that he usually comes out with, and he didn't. To be fair, he was quite honest and upfront and said, "This is the first real test that we've had, and they were absolutely the better team."
Yeah, I saw that as well, and that was in the 3-minute clip where he was basically said, but he was being very respectful to other teams as well, which kind of caught me off guard a little bit. I nearly fell walking home watching it on the phone. Because he was like, no disrespect to the other teams we've played, but they're better than you. And I was kind of like, oh, okay, he's been all right there. This is weird. I think I was too drunk to absorb the actual sentiment behind what he was saying at the time until I saw
what time
it the next
when
day.
you were What time were you going home watching that?
Well, I convinced Jay to drop me to 5 lanes roundabout.
Did you?
So I didn't have to walk up that dirty Dixon Hill. Oh, Christ, on a bike. So it was about whenever we left the pub that time. So it would have been about 11:15 or so, 11:30.
Yeah. I didn't realise what time it was until I walked out and I'm like, fuck, you know. It was like knocking on 12 o'clock and there were still shitloads of people outside Peacock.
Yeah, it was
mega.
mad. It was packed.
Mega. I've never seen it that busy at that sort of time. But obviously, at the back of a 2-0 win, you know, and it's Friday.
Yeah.
So let's get into the nitty gritty then. Any good performances from you both? There's one particular that I would like to divulge against. However, that can wait a little bit. We'll talk about Rothwell in a short while.
Well, you've just taken away the one that I was going to say would have good.
No, that can wait. That can wait because you're having
okay.
Yeah. Let's start with Meslier then. Are you happy enough with him? Do you think he did the right?
Why is Jay shouting at us?
I don't know.
There's no need for that shouting. So it's still a bit early, Jay.
Sunday morning, and he's got his caps log.
Leave that for the theme park that you're going to argue with the people that won't let you on the rides because you're not tall enough. Leave it to them.
Yeah, he's going to like Water Valley to ride some teacups and like one of them caterpillar rides or something today. So Meslier then, do you think he had a good performance today? Today? Fucking hell.
Are you all right?
You can tell I've only been up an hour or so, okay?
Oh, is that what the excuse is it?
I also was out having some evening quality time with some friends last night as well, and I didn't get back till late either.
Nice.
So, yeah, Karl, talk to me about Meslier. Do you think he had a good performance?
He had very little to do, really, didn't he? There was not anything of note that I could say where he played badly or he played great, because he tidied up everything he needed to tidy up, and it was a bit harsh, I think, from some of our fans whenever he caught the ball, and we'd be kind of like, way a little bit, you could hear it kind of reverberating around the ground. I thought that was a little bit harsh, but there wasn't much for him to do, if I'm being perfectly honest. And I think, I don't know, I just think he had a quiet game, tidy game, but quiet game. He didn't balloon any balls too far out of play over someone's head, and he cleared lines when he needed to, and I didn't notice anything outstanding, but he didn't do anything bad either. So he had a steady game. I thought he handled it well, considering what happened at Sunderland recently. I heard that there was a couple of their attackers and defenders giving him in the ear when they were taking corners. There was rumour that was going about, but I thought he handled it well. And then
the Sheff United players were giving him
yeah.
Not really.
But he handled it very well, and it's how a keeper recovers after an incident like that kind of puts them in the right place for the games moving forward. And I think that was our biggest test at the weekend, and for him to not concede. Granted, the back four played well in front of him, but I think you get a game like that and you come out of it with a clean sheet, and I think you just got to take the good with the bad, and that was the good that we saw, and just move on. I think that's put it to bed now.
They obviously didn't register any shots on target, but he was very commanding of his box. I mean, they didn't have many corners, but the ones that they did have, he took control of them. He plucked one out of air nicely, actually. Yeah. Like I say, it was definitely just a one-off mistake, hopefully.
There were a couple of hearty-mouth moments, though. When he had the ball at his feet, and there were a couple of times that it were like Bielsa times, when you know that there's high-risk, high-reward football going on, and you kind of just have to deal with that as a fan. There were a couple of times they got very close to him before he released the ball, and I'm like, and then it were okay, and you're like, oh. And there were a couple of times that happened, but as has been pointed out in the comments, and as you guys have said, if you don't have a shot to save, it's very hard to show what you can do as a keeper. What he would have to do, he did fine. But there were a couple of bits when I was like, oh God, because if something had gone wrong on Friday night, if he'd have made a mistake, the place would have gone instantly toxic.
Oh,
so it would almost
I dread to think.
We've got that game out of the way. It's the next game after the big mistake, but and next home game and all of that sort of stuff. Get it out of the way, and it's done now, and nothing went wrong. But it took a couple of risks that I didn't feel were necessary, and had it gone wrong, that would have been difficult to even come back from. So
the crowd were in fine voice as well, weren't they, for a change? I mean, it tends to drop off around the 20th minutes, 25 minutes or whatever, but it was absolutely brilliant throughout, and we didn't obviously score until way into the second half. I expected it to be all right, but and fair play to Sheffield United, they brought the noise for a good 5 or 10 minutes, and then didn't really friggin' hear a beat from them for the rest of the game. So I expected
that you were here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We had a couple of scary moments as well. Well, one in particular, probably the most scary of the moments, where Rodon brought the ball down absolutely like a peach, and then decided to harpoon the bastard straight at Bogle. Luckily, he made a recovery, but
plucked it out of the air like Zidane and passed it like Robin Koch.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I thought the defence were brilliant. I thought Firpo were fantastic. I can't help but love that guy.
He's playing with a lot of confidence, isn't he?
He is, and you can understand why we went in for him all those seasons ago, and we just hadn't got the best out of him. But now, I mean, granted, it's a level below, but I hope if we do go into Premier League that he gets a shot, and then he gets to obviously actually show us what he's capable of against a higher graded player. What did you think of Bogle's performance? Because the Sheff United fans were obviously giving him some shit, and he was up against... do you know what, actually? I didn't realise Jamie Shackleton were playing. I didn't realise until after the game.
Yeah.
Didn't realise.
They kind of... They went 5 at the back, really. And it surprised me somewhat, because I thought that Bogle were going to be... So Raksaki usually plays on the right, and I genuinely thought that Raksaki would play and they would play him up against Bogle and push him back and try to take advantage of the fact that he's more attacking than he is a defensive-minded player. And they didn't. Harrison Burrows played up against him, but as a wing-back. So Bogle had quite an amount of space, and he took advantage of that. I thought he played really well, but I didn't think that too many questions were asked. I mean, there weren't too many questions asked of us as a whole, to be honest. We were in commanding position throughout the game, I felt, and that'll show in the momentum when we pop it up, because I've put it in the brand. But
yeah,
I have.
No,
but
you
you know,
how active have we on a Sunday morning?
but you know, I didn't think they offered much, but what they did try, he dealt with really, really well. I thought he had a good game.
Yeah, I thought he had a good game as well, especially when he were like literally right in front of Sheff United fans, and they were giving him some right shit as well.
Yeah.
You know, I thought, you know, fair play to him. He had a great game.
Yeah. He celebrated quite hard when we got the first goal as well, so I liked that. I liked that he just was
Big
like,
time.
fuck that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And did you see Tanaka as well?
Yeah.
He enjoyed that, didn't he?
Falling to his knees like this.
Yeah, like Platoon.
Wilder actually, Wilder made some comments about the whole the setup and how he set up his players and stuff, because he said that he'd completely changed the formation from previous games to suit playing against us, and he echoed back to Martin and at Southampton and how they'd set up to beat us. You know, obviously 3 times last season. He said that, you know, sometimes you've got to make changes, and you can't be afraid to make changes. And you know, the momentum was with us because we hadn't lost and such like that. And then sometimes you've just got to accept that you've made a mistake and you did it wrong. So you definitely did change your setup against us, obviously. I mean, to be fair, I half expected them to be an absolute set of shithouses. You know, to really bully us on the ball, to foul us, to waste time, to do anything they could do, to rile the crowd up, to get the crowd technically on our players' backs or whatever. And that really didn't happen. We didn't give him enough time to kind of, you know, do the dark arts or whatever, because we were so clean cut with our passing. I thought we moved the ball around exceptionally well. No more, might I add, than Mr. Rothwell himself, who I believe, you know, is probably up there for man of the match with Ao Tanaka and others. But I thought Rothwell was absolutely brilliant yesterday. What are your thoughts, Karl?
Well, firstly, we played Friday and yesterday was Saturday,
Oh,
so
fucking-
you need
know
to
what I
get
mean.
your shit together there.
Listen. Stop it.
Stop it.
Stop making it silly. I do that enough myself.
You're doing that all on your own, yeah. I thought Rothwell and Tanaka were absolutely fantastic in the middle of the park. Again, it's another game where we've seen what Rothwell's capabilities are driving forward. He's very much get the ball and hammer into space with the ball, whether it be a pass into feet or like a quick zip pass into feet, a drive down the middle. Like he must have gone down the middle like God knows, maybe 5 or 6 times in the first half, and he played in Ramazani for one, and there was a couple of others, and I thought Ramazani was very unlucky with his effort. It came off the post in the first half.
I thought that was saved, didn't it? One I saw on the
post, yeah.
On the highlights, it was post. Unlucky.
Yeah, and one slight criticism on that is I think the ball was a bit too heavy, because he like Ramazani has the pace. He didn't need to put so much on it. And I think it would have given Ramazani a better shot across the keeper, perhaps, if he just, because he had the beating of that defender anyway. Like, but Rothwell overall, I was saying to my mates at half time in the concourse, I was like, that's the most complete first half we've ever seen under Fark without scoring a goal. And I think a lot of what happened and the positivity around that was what Rothwell and Tanaka were doing, because they were very, very much on the front foot. And it's different to how we were playing with Gruev and Ampadu. And I was saying that Ampadu is obviously going to come back in. He's captain when he's fit. He's going to come back in. That's a no-brainer. He's not going to come in straight away, but he will come back in.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a tough one for Fark, dropping, you know, you're going to have to look at Tanaka, Gruev, and Yaman until when they're back. And it's going to be a difficult one, because they're all offering different styles adding to that midfield. So I don't envy Fark in any way at all trying to fix that situation at all. But it's good to have them options, I guess. But yeah, he was brilliant on Friday night.
it's a joy to watch him at the minute because we've been so obviously vociferous around their performances, and and I was expecting it. To be fair, when they featured against Norwich together, it was quite loose. It wasn't as tight knitted as I suppose the last couple of games have been. But I think them two have been solid together. Tanaka's just a fantastic. He's so tidy, and I think he's quite aggressive as well, which you wouldn't expect him to be that kind of player. He really gets stuck in. And we'll get on to Aronson as well, but Rothwell, his passing and his turn yesterday were fantastic, and I think because he's starting games now and he's growing into that role a little bit more, he's going to be. I think Rothwell will probably be the player to drop out once Ampadu is back. But yeah, he's pretty tidy. Gilly, what are your thoughts about the shit bastard Rothwell?
Man at match for me, absolutely. I think it. So if you look at, I think Sky man at match with Tanaka. SofaScore's man at match was Struijk. I thought that's really harsh on Rothwell because I thought he ran the show. I thought he was really good. He's stepped up and he's playing above himself, and that's absolutely what we needed. So fair play to him. Yep, my man at match by a distance. I think it's a bit harsh that Karl said that he'd over hit the pass to Ramazani. He got on it and he hit the post with it. So
I know it.
Harsh.
I wasn't trying to be harsh. You kind of you want to big up players, but you also want to kind of look at what they could have done better as well. Because if you're looking at a player like Rothwell, then you're kind of looking at him and he's very aggressive on the ball. He's very kind of forward thinking. But if he gets in positions like that, then maybe you can kind of criticise him for the weight of the pass because he's not done anything else wrong either.
In that position, if you make a softer pass in that position, that keeper's going to smother that ball.
I don't think so. The keeper was stuck to his line because he felt that the defenders. Yeah, but that's because the ball was heavy rather than a lighter pass.
The defender just clears it if it's a softer. For me, it were perfectly weighted because it were in that area that meant the defender's not going to get back because Ramazani is going to overtake him. But if you don't hit it as hard as he did, Ramazani doesn't have the time to overtake the defender. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think you can look at it from both angles because I think if it was softer, I think it probably gets cleared either by the defender or the keeper, or if as it was hit at the speed and the tempo that it was. It didn't give them enough time to think about it. It allowed Ramazani to get on it, but only just get on it to be able to basically do that half shot because he didn't really make much of it. I mean, it were near enough out, so you're not going to score from someone that's absolutely dead on the chuffing post. That's why
Everton did.
Well, not. I think it was a much more. Further,
but it was further wide as well.
It was wider, but they were bigger open frigging net because Dipstick was sort of fucking 18-yard box near enough.
The one thing I would say,
7 or 8 yards
while we're talking Rothwell, I thought his set pieces, which is his strength, were actually quite poor. And
really,
there is a debate as to whether the corner that we scored from was poor or worked on.
No, that's that would definitely worked on that. 100%.
And if we are giving him the benefit of the doubt in that, then maybe the shit ones that didn't beat the first man and bounced before they got into middle and whatever else were also intentional, but they looked poor. And that's what his strength is. So that would temper. It's still the man of match for me, but it was his open play rather than his set pieces, which is very different to what we expect from him.
Yeah, I 100% think that were part of the routine, that corner.
And was it intentional to shin it as well?
Shin what?
Pascal, he shinned it.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that. I mean, that's just... Have you never scored a goal with your shin before?
Yeah.
I have. I've got fucking loads of shin. Doesn't matter. As long as you've got enough to... As long as you've got chuffing enough on a ball to direct it to whether you want it to. It doesn't matter whether it comes off your knee or your ball sack. It doesn't matter, does it? At the end of the day, you want it to go in. I mean, I wouldn't recommend hitting it off your ball sack, obviously.
No, not a cold Sunday morning on a
you might feel
icy
a little
pitch.
Bit ill afterwards. Feels like someone's washing up in your stomach, doesn't it? It's horrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think that...
the worst ones are the ones that just flick it, though, aren't they? That's the sicky feeling. The ones that just flick it.
Yeah. Can we not get into that, lads? It's a sore subject.
Ball
that, really, isn't it?
squelching on a Sunday morning. What more could you possibly want?
That or getting belted in the side of the ear with those old school mitra balls. Before
the
you had
especially when they're wet.
No, not even the old school Premier League balls. The ones before them where they were just a rock with like a fake leather panel on it.
Yeah, but you're
I
that
just
old.
used
You used to play with them while they were brown with laces on.
And stitched.
I'm not even the oldest one on this fucking pod this morning.
You do look like you dug up.
That is true.
God,
Yeah.
Luke and his fucking
Luke says different.
Yeah, he does. So, he would.
So yeah, no, there were a couple of cracking performances. What are your thoughts around Harrison? Because there's a lot of noise around him thinking that he does a lot, but doesn't seem to do a lot. If you know what I mean, he contributes very little, but seems to be quite busy all the time.
He looks busy. He really looks busy, and he works hard. He does. You can't take that away from him. He works hard, but you could call him the shift. I mean, I didn't realise while at the game, but if you watch the highlights back, there are so many chances he misses so badly that it started to get a bit of a joke just how bad he was at finishing. And if he could finish, then we'd have been 5 or 6.
Yeah, he does get into some good positions. I think that's just because of how he carries his frame and stuff. He's quite, like you said, he's nippy, isn't he? And he's tenacious. Yeah. And to be fair, he gives what he gets, which that's what I quite like about him. However, he is quite wasteful. But you know, is that something? I mean, it's that 10 position in it, or that's that sort of central position where he seems to hold a lot of the time. You know, do we need someone a little bit more creative? A Gus Hamer, of course, who I didn't even realise. Well, obviously I knew he was there, but he did do absolutely jack shit yesterday. Either.
Absolutely, it was terrible.
Fucking yesterday, Friday night.
I'm sorry, folks. You know, it's if you're feeling a little bit disjointed now with the days.
The only chance that I can remember them having that wasn't created by us was our blaster shot from outside the box that got blocked.
Yeah.
Hamer did nothing at all. O'Hare, I mean, just going back to Ramazani, there was one point at which O'Hare tackled him, but give him a little bit afterwards. Nothing given. And really, it shouldn't have been. That's not the complaint or the point. But within 30 seconds, Ramazani's gone in on O'Hare and he's absolutely cleaned him out. And 100%, that's what you want. Because, you know, there's been points made about Nonto taking no shit from Suter and Sousa at the back. You know, they were like a team of giants. They had their big lurch in the middle, didn't they? And
it was a very strange looking man, wasn't it?
Yeah, but
big hunched over thing, like frigging like a tall Shrek, wasn't it?
But when you've got Ramazani and Nonto absolutely not taking any shit and actually giving it back, that's what we want to see. Yeah. That's it. I love seeing that. That's exactly what you want.
Yeah.
Just on Aronson before we move on, I didn't think he played badly, but like you said, there's just elements of his game that he still needs to improve on. One thing that I noticed about it was we didn't have the Nonto Aronson switch from wing to 10 very much at all. And I thought that contributed to Willie having not, you know, in comparison to previous games, quite a quieter game in my opinion. It was still very effective, but I thought we missed the rotation between Aronson and Nonto into the middle, or Ramazani and Nonto into the middle, or, you know, that rotation there didn't happen an awful lot, and I think we lost a bit of that creativity in the middle because Nonto's been finding them little passes recently, and, you know, in and around the edge of the 18-yard box, and with them not being in there, I noticed that we, you know, a lot was on Aronson to try and find them balls, and like you said, Gilly, he was busy without being effective in very much. But I think that's where we kind of lost the creativity in the middle, was just that rotation didn't seem to be there for me at all, like in comparison to the Sunderland game.
We were getting joy down the wings though, weren't we?
Yeah, but I think Aaronson's very capable of just playing on the wing, because what's he need to do? He just needs to play Bogle in on the overlap. You know, he can do that and let Willie drift inside and take up that space in the 10 role. Like, so sorry, but go on anyway.
You're right, we didn't see much of that. But if you look at the ratings, Aronson was the worst rated performance, and I think that's for a reason. Yeah, and but not in the game for Leeds. The worst rated performance, rated worse than Melia, who had nothing to do. But that it's because he gave the ball away quite a bit, and when chances came to him, he was snatching at it. It looked like he was playing without any confidence at all. And I think that's why it was a marked difference to others. You know, we touched on Firpo and the level of confidence he's playing with at the moment. Bogle had a really good game. Yeah, Rothwell and Tanaka on the ball looked like they were always about to pick the right pass. I think that the point that I would make about them is the trust that the side is building in them both. Because what you see is they're making the runs and they're not going, shit, what if he loses it? They're going, he's not going to lose it and he's going to pick the right pass, and the team are making those runs. And I think that that's a level of trust that's being built in them because they don't give the ball away. Aronson sticks out in that because the giveaways. And I know that he's playing further forward, and one, it's less of an impact if you're playing further forward and you lose the ball. But two, you're trying to do something different. It's a different job. And you're trying to pick those killer passes that's going to put somebody in and whatever else. It's a more difficult pass to play than a lot of the passes that Rafael and Tanaka are playing because they're deeper. But it's just I don't know if it's just confidence or if it's just not as good. But he's sticking out at the moment.
Would it be down to this? Joe Bedford is saying here in the comments he was probably too knackered to play on the wing on Friday. Do you think is that something to take into account? Because Fark does expect a lot from his wingers when they play out wide. Like, you know, there's a lot of tracking to be done where if he's playing in the 10, he has that more free role where he can still do a bit of a job in the middle without overexerting himself. But is that at the detriment to the rest of the team then?
Maybe so, but I think it was Bryn actually pointed out that Fulham put on a private jet for one of their players, and it meant that so they went, anybody going back to England, just jump on this. So it's not like he were flying Jet 2. You know, he went on economy class and then waiting around forever at the other end and then waiting for his luggage coming through and
sat
whatever
on his
else.
suitcase in the terminal.
Waiting at that interminable carousel full of chavs. You know, that's not his experience, is it?
But he also played 2.5 hours of football. Whereas I saw that...
He's a footballer. Come on.
I know, yeah. but my point I was getting to was that your man for AC Milan used to play for Chelsea as well, Pulisic. He had an agreement with AC Milan had an agreement made with the national team. If he played a certain amount in the first game, he only played a minimum amount in the second game because he had to come back essentially the same way. Why aren't, like, because Aronson played 75 minutes in the first game and he played 90 in the second. Why aren't we arranging something like that with the national team? There were two friendlies, like. There weren't qualifiers, there weren't anything.
It's a bit prima donnery though, that, isn't it?
I get that, yeah, but when you look at it, like the travel time, everything like that, like he'd have gone from playing a game, going straight to the airport, getting on a jet and coming straight back and then trying to get back on our time frame and stuff like that. You know, maybe we need to, if it's the distance is that great next time again and it's only friendlies, maybe the club should just step in and go, well, no, we don't want him playing the whole lot. Like, maybe just sort of look at it and go, all right, he's played 45 there, we'll give him another 60 here and that'll be it. And if it's a friendly, because
if
that's
it's a friendly,
to us.
He's a footballer. He's a footballer.
I'm more concerned about the distance travelled in relation to the time played as well. Not so much that I get your point. He is a footballer, Gilly, but I think the distance travelled is going to have a knock-on effect, and I think that was to the detriment of us on Friday because he couldn't go out wide and put in the shift that he potentially could do and allow Nanto in the middle. So maybe we need to kind of look at those friendlies and go, no, sorry, he's got a knock. He's not going this time.
What you're saying, lie to the national team?
No. Give him a dig somewhere. Give him a bit of bruising, and just say
actually injure him.
Yeah, just give him.
Right, yeah.
Just give him a
injure
dig.
him.
Yeah,
Give
just
him a
give him a
dead
dig
leg.
in the ribs or something. You know,
Don't lie about it. Just hurt him.
Yeah. Do something like that. You know?
I think Joe's follow-up comment is probably more on the nose. Aronson's possibly still trying to add because of his history. I think there's certainly some validity to that.
That's a great point.
I think that's a fair point. And you know, you can understand it because of his history and you know, being the worst player in the entire season, our last season in the Premier League, in the entire division, will haunt him forever in his career. But yeah, well, he's not good enough, but he works hard. So
he's all right. He's all right for what we've got
no
now.
one else.
I think going into Premier League, we do need to strengthen that position. My only problem with Aronson is that those clear cut passes. I mean, bloody Joel Pirro gets enough stick, and look at the pass that he laid down for Joseph, for our second goal.
And the run before it were very, very good.
What did you think before we have a look at the Pirro stuff and Joseph? Did you think Dan James and Manor Solomon covered themselves in glory as they entered the field of play? Didn't have a right lot to do, did they?
No, and I don't think they did very much.
I've seen an exceptional shit take from a gentleman on. I will do, but I will go into more depth. Well, I'm not on, so it's my shit takes.
Okay, fair enough.
I think I know where you're going, and the guy is a dick.
The guy is an absolute. I won't say what we're about to say. Yeah, he's a proper bellend. I'll just keep it at that. And
not Solomon, by the way. We're not talking about Solomon being a bellend.
The guy with the shit take. So the guy pretty much said that Solomon's ineffective. He's crap. Ever since he were injured, his major injury before he signed for Leeds, he's lost his pace and he just don't offer anything. I was like,
and that we were good until he came on.
Oh, what God! Now we have to take into account this guy could be blind, medically blind, and he's only listening to it on the radio and he's judging it off that. We have to take that into account.
I suppose.
But if he is fully sighted, take it off.
He talks. The person we talk about talks as though he is the knowledgeable person on the platform, knows more than anybody else, and nobody else can have any opinion. And he's one of the strike sexuals. You can't have an opinion on strike unless it's that he's God's gift and the return of our Lord and Saviour himself.
Yeah, I was absolutely flabbergasted. I thought, yes, I understand that he didn't have a right lot to do and he didn't contribute much, but he's fresh from an injury. Yeah. He's just been introduced into the game at the latter stages of the game. I mean, obviously, just before we scored, but he didn't have a right lot to do. But he's potentially the best player in this fucking league. Potentially.
Injury-free.
When he's injury-free, when he's fit and firing. I mean, we've already seen, from start of the season, it was like, holy shit, this guy's got fucking bags of talent. An absolute perfect replacement for, whether you is a replacement for frigging Somerville or not. He's an absolutely class player. And he'll rip defences to absolute shreds. I mean, he did do, look how he turned that fucking guy for Matteo Joseph's goal when he prodded it in. He just gone. He turns inside, outside. I was just like, fucking shut up, you stupid man. Dan James, good to see him back.
It is. Yeah, it really is. Again, I didn't think he did much. He wasn't particularly involved, but you could see how worried they were about him because they instantly dropped off. With both of them, because they're both quick. Yeah. You could see how worried they were, and that just forcing the question to be asked: are they going to get in behind me? Shit, what am I going to do if they do? Because I'm never going to catch them up again. So that the opposition having to think in that way and asking different questions is a big deal anyway.
Yeah, you could see instantly. It was like the tide were going out, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was like the tide were going out. As soon as Dan James trotted onto that field, they were like, oh, shit. We better not leave too much space in behind us, boys, because this guy's going to be like a frigging rocket and go straight past us.
Yeah, that's that. And again, Johnny Brown is in the comments there as well. Johnny's saying the bench looks better now with options. Regardless of how Dan James played or Solomon played and what your opinion is of that, to be able to bring those two off the bench and replace both Aronson and Nanto, that's you can't argue with that. I think
no.
Those are probably the two best options off the bench currently in the league, and I'm just flabbergasted that anyone would kind of criticise them for not being too involved on Friday because, like you said, back injury, going to be playing on his mind. Dan James only back from a long injury as well.
No one was criticising him for lack of involvement, by the way. He was criticising him because of his political views.
Just because he's a dick.
Excuse me.
He just doesn't like the player.
Yeah,
he just made the decision, and it wouldn't have mattered what he did.
Right, so he could score the final goal on the final day of the season to send us up, and
he could be top scorer for our team over the whole season. He'd still have a problem, as would a lot of our fan base. But
yeah, and it is a thing. People are free to have their opinions, but if your opinion stinks that badly, then you're going to be called out for
it. leave politics out of football for me. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Joe Pirro and his pass. Joel Piroe, no, you're not. Joel Piroe and his pass to Joseph then. Was Joseph fouling their defender before he scored?
I think if you look at it in isolation, after he's got in front of the man and he's got the ball at his feet, you could argue that he's pulling the shirt and it could have been given. If you watch it in totality, he's been fouled before he's done any fouling. So, okay, 6-1.
Yeah, that's exactly my opinion on it. I think if he's getting if you feel a hand on you like that as a forward and you know you're getting fouled, you're going to do something to do it as well. The only problem with that from the replays that you see from behind the goal is that all they're showing is Joseph having been in front of your man and a hold of his shirt, and your man had let go of Joseph's shirt at that stage, but they were already in the box.
His arm. His arm.
But he'd let go of his shirt, but he was already in the box at that stage. If Joseph went down, that to me, that's a penalty if he goes down, like, because you're trying to give advantage to attackers now, especially if they're looking at this new automated offside shit next season and all that. So that's advantage to attackers,
Yeah.
But I think fair play to him. He was strong and determined. The run was brilliant. He was literally sitting on the guy's shoulder when he made the run, and the ball from Piroe, well, if that's a right-footed player, I don't know if it gets to Joseph, but the fact that it was a left-footer, it was a beautifully weighted pass, and he did very well to finish it.
They were cock on, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was good.
I mean, I'm agree with you guys. I mean, like you say, the problem for me is Joseph could quite have easily have gone down there, and I don't think he gets a penalty. So I'm glad that he didn't. I'm glad that he persisted and tucked it away, and really nice finish as well. And straight off the back of 3 goals, obviously for Spain, he's brimming with confidence now. But I think that the way that they're the way that we're playing him, bringing him off from the bench and stuff, is probably the right way to play him at the minute before he gets some more confidence. Joe says is okay. Smith would have noticed the shirt pull even if it was his shirt Joseph was pulling.
So ref wouldn't have seen it even if it was the ref shirt that were getting pulled.
We'll come on to ref. We'll finish with ref. We'll speak about Piroe a little bit. Do you think that he's playing a little bit better? Do you think he's I mean, it was always quite set in his ways, quite one-dimensional with Piroe. He seems to be moving around a little bit more freely, and he seems to be moving quicker as well. I don't know whether he's lost a couple of pounds or something. But what are your thoughts on Piroe? Do you think he's changed his style slightly this season? Do you think it's taken him a season to get more involved with the attacking style that Farke wants?
I think he's cut out the pre-match doobie, man, and he's just like, right, okay, I'll wait till afterwards. Just wait till afterwards.
He's actually got his eyes open now.
Yeah.
He got some sellotape holding his eyes open.
Yeah. It's like that Tom and Jerry scene where he gets the cell, I think personally his performances have been much, much better than anything we saw last season. Like you mentioned there, has he lost weight or what? I think he looks more mobile than he did last year.
That's what I mean. And to say that he's starting up front now, and he's also kind of doing the donkey work up top to a better extent than he previously has been. I think, I think his performances are definitely worthy of starting at the moment. He's got 4 goals. He's our leading striker with goals, so you always start your leading striker regardless.
We just popped up Piroe's heat map. If you look at no, he was subbed for Bamford. That's it. This Piroe's heat map, and if you look at it, he's covered a lot of ground there, and he's not playing in that traditional 9 role. He was playing up front because Aronson was in the 10, but he wasn't doing that. Stay on the last man. He was dropping deep. He was getting involved in play. I thought he played really well. But if you look at the heat map there, it's different. And I think the job he was being asked to do is different to the job that Joseph would be asked to do. Because Joseph plays on that last man. He scores the goal he scores. He plays on the last man. He turns them. He gets at them. He's more mobile, Joseph. But I think he plays on the defence in a different way. And I think that was needed. I think we really needed that. So I think Piroe was really effective. I think he played well. As to whether he'll play the next game, Joseph's come in and he scored. but Perot set him up. And I think Perot played well. So, again, that's one of those that's a nice problem to have. I think if you look at Watford, and we'll do something a bit deeper about it when we get into the main pod, but there won't be one before the next game.
We need to briefly have a quick chat about Watford.
I'll do a little bit of that, because if you look at them, they're the absolute example of a hot and cold team. They've beaten Borough and they've beaten Sunderland, both of who were playing quite well when they played them, but they got absolutely battered by Norwich.
3-0. Wait, 3-0? They got battered by Norwich?
Well, yeah, that wasn't Norwich. Who were that?
Watford lost 3-0.
They got battered by Luton. They've been battered by Norwich.
Sorry. Fuck.
Yeah. I mean, they're managed by a scummer, so, that's one thing. But they're very, very much a hot and cold team. And if you look at their lineups, he's tinkering and he's changing all the time. And whether they play well or not, he's putting them out in a different formation again. And they've done 3-3-1-2 and 3-3-2-1, and they've that's not enough players, is it? But the point is, they'll do 3 at back, they'll do 5 at back, they'll do a flat back 4, and he's tinkering and changing it all the time, and therefore it's quite difficult to read. So I think the next one is one of those where we just need to concentrate on what we're going to do, rather than worrying about the opposition, because you probably won't have a mind as to how they're going to line up. But they do play with wing backs. I think it'll be quite a similar setup to what we saw Sheff United do, and we were imperious. We were in control from start to finish. In fact, I'll pop up the momentum now because we're moving away from it, and it's there. And if you look at it, it's just all throughout the game. They had 4, 5 elements where they had a bit of control. It was actually before the Joseph goal that they had their best period in the game, and in terms of momentum. So I think it's one of those where we need to be conscious of what we're trying to do, because Watford are a hot and cold team. They're not far behind us in the table. They're in and around the play. I think they're 8th at the moment. They're not far away in terms of points. So, but yeah, I think when it comes to whether it'll be Pirro, whether it'll be Joseph, it'll come down to what Farke is asking of them, because they are good at different things.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. I think we're going to fly through a couple of starred comments now, and then we'll touch on Watford a little bit more, expected lineups, etc. And I suppose we'll have to do the predictions. So if you want to start getting your Excel spreadsheet ready, Matthew.
Yeah,
what do you mean getting it ready? He's had that ready since last night.
He's like imprinted on back of his eyelids, isn't it? I am spreadsheet.
I wonder would you be able to do it with them bleeding Google glasses that you get, the Meta glasses? Can you do it on that and just be like
blinking?
One of them.
Gilly, if you don't cut that whilst he's been doing that and turn it into some freaking edit, there's going to be problems.
I was rebooting there as well, by the way.
Carl needs a fancy
What are we doing,
Smarty?
Just run it again.
Go on, do it again. Do it again, Carl.
Oh, you give us an example of what you were doing.
I'm not doing it, you silly sod. You're not cutting me at all. You think I was bloody born yesterday? Oh, my word. Oh, my Lord.
Oh, no.
Sheer
Oh, no.
Absolutely not. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, Johnny Brown.
Oh,
Sweet
no,
baby
Johnny.
Jesus and all the incidentals. That's Christ.
It's Sunday morning. It's a family show.
It's not even before 12 o'clock. Or
Take
after
your
12.
smut away, you filthy sod. Anyway, Melly had the perfect game after the Sunderland game. Not much to do, and what he had to do was fine. Okay.
Yeah.
That's thanks. If we've already covered the topic, Carl.
But these are all like, just fucking maybe do some while we're talking about the topic then, instead of me,
Joe Bedford says, did we all get together to choose the outfits this morning? As it happens, I turned up first with a yellow shirt on, and Karl was second, and he had some sort of nice bladgan on of some sort. And then Gilly turned up with that bucket hat and the whole shirt combo. So we made Karl go back and get changed. So yes, it was, to a degree, a little bit coordinated.
It's more bullying and...
It's not bullying. Go back and get changed, you dickhead, isn't not bullying.
That's a polite way of going, you're not right.
Saladin says, oh shit, I've landed on a Norwich pod. Thank you. You bastard. What you need to realise is whoever's starring these comments is, I'm going to read them out regardless of what they are, so they could absolutely shithouse me. I am
Ron
like
Burgundy.
Yeah. Oh, he's back. Lord Sugar. How the hell do you even say that last word? Sheergarath?
Sheergarath.
Sheergarath. I like it. I don't really know how to say it, but I like it. Wilder was visibly humbled. The jealousy is powerful in that man. I didn't denote any jealousy from him though, did you guys? It was thoroughly humble and just says, look, the best team won. I tried to change the formation. It didn't work. The rest is history.
Yeah, but
I didn't see any jealousy. Historically, he's a twat.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? You know, the Leeds Muppets. I think it's the historical thing that makes it so enjoyable.
Muppets from Leeds.
Yeah.
I don't think it was jealousy. I think it was he hadn't a leg to stand on and say anything else, and he had to be brutally honest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think he had no choice. If he tried saying anything else, he'd have got absolutely slated. So he had no choice but to be honest about it.
I mean, normally looks for some kind of excuses, and I would have expected him, like I said, to blame it on the referee, who I thought had a really very poor game, to be fair. I mean, some of the stuff that they were getting away with, you know, the blatant pushes and the Bogle foul that he gave the opposite way. Oh, my Christ.
In front of their fans, like, and your man literally you could see him go like that. Yeah. And he pushed him over, and the linesman's 5 yards away, and the ref is 30 yards away, and the fucking ref gives it. And you're like, you're there. You're right, fucking anyway.
Yeah,
that's a whole other pod.
Cowardly linesman. Nige D says, "Don't be soft, lads. Hamface is a twat." That's you're absolutely not wrong. Paul Brennan, for me, a complete performance, the best of the season so far. Ellen Road, from the fight, best atmosphere so far this season. I would agree. I thought the atmosphere was fantastic yesterday. It acted back to what it used to be like before we were cast out of the Premier League, because that's really, for me, when the atmosphere started getting shit, and I think this season, unless it's going really, really well, the crowd is quite poor. What do you think, Karl? Because you sit in the Sheff stand with me.
We pointed this out last year or whatever. I think last year was more down to nerves because we'd just come down, we didn't know what was going on, the club was a bit of a fucking mess, blah blah. And I think the tension in the crowd last season has kind of was very noticeable. I think this year it's kind of picked up a little bit, and it's starting to get back to where it was, because I think people are more confident in what Farke is potentially doing, the players we have in and stuff like that. That, you know, when a fan base is confident in the players they see on the pitch, they tend to be a little bit louder than previously, you know what I mean? So I think a lot of how the fans are reacting is a lot to do with what's going on the pitch or around the club. So yeah, it was very much getting back to the old way on Friday night. I nearly said last night because of you.
It's easily done.
It's not. It's just because you're a numpty and you keep saying it and you fucking...
Listen, I'm not the one who's just had a factory reset live on the podcast.
I was doing Gilly in his Excel spreadsheet glasses. So that's... I think the atmosphere is starting to get a little bit better because the team are starting to gel quite a bit, and I think there's a lot more confidence in the players on the pitch, so that'll reflect in the stands.
Absolutely, and we always said, give them time, they will gel, etc., etc.
Yeah. It goes for the away fans as well, though, doesn't it? I thought they were quite poor, to be fair. Yeah. As you said, they were quite noisy at the start, but then that just dissipated, which kind of goes in line with what Karl's saying, because they were shit. So maybe that's why their fans quietened down. But
we're exactly the same typically. If we don't like what we see, I mean, we were absolutely all over them. Pretty much after 10 minutes, it were all Leeds. So if you're getting absolutely swamped and run off the park, then you're not going to be singing and dancing around too much, I wouldn't have thought.
But I mean, that can go either way for us, can't it? Because sometimes it's let's pretend to scored a goal and let's go fucking mental and whatever else we do when we're really shit. But as a home crowd, we know that when there is a large away following, which they did sell all the tickets and all of that stuff, when there's a large away following and it's in a derby, we know that we need to be on form. Mm-hmm. So even though they weren't loud, the fact that they were present meant that we had to be good, and we were. And I think we matched the team. So it was an enjoyable atmosphere. It was good. Unfortunately, I had to be in the northeast rather than in one of the ones that we preferred to be in, just because that's where we got the tickets. But it was still good over there.
Right, wasn't it? Yeah. One of the first games I've not heard football in the library and stuff.
Yeah.
For quite some time. So very happy with that.
And we got to not hear Leeds are falling apart again from the opposition fans, which is nice.
There was obviously the obligatory Jimmy Savile chants, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Blah, whatever.
That's because the dickheads, isn't it?
That's only because we were calling Wilder a paedophile, I think. Liam B says, Nonto was one of the smallest players for Leeds, giving the biggest lad all the shit he could well done. He could. Some of these comments, honestly, guys, please.
All the shit he could. Well done, Nonto.
Just do better. Use fucking grammar.
Oh, you sounded like him. What's that massive guy that calls people out for being knobheads in gyms? Do better.
Joe Swall.
Mind your business. That's him, Joe Swall.
You've got to do better. Danny Talk Sport says, I think Rothwell pass was a yard too late, a yard earlier might have been better. I think he's on about
the one into
Ramazani. I think so.
Yeah. The one where Karl absolutely crucified Rothwell and said that he was shit. That one.
Yeah, hold on a second now, Mr. Rothwell hater. Let's not be digging me into any hole here now. I'll dig my own holes, thank you very much.
Should Gilly just get all defensive over Rothwell then?
Yeah, that's what
my eyes and ears deceiving me. Have we turned a corner? Wayne Dawson, so this person that's always right, why isn't he the Leeds manager or England manager? What a doofus, he says.
Doofus, absolutely. I like that.
Doofus is a quality insult. It's not used enough anymore.
No. Very 90s,
AJ Law, can we touch on Fark? His tactics and time off subs were spot on. Subbed in after the Blunts did. Thought he was spot on. Yeah. Do you want to comment on the substitutions and the timings of the subs?
I mean, it's a luxury, isn't it, being able to bring that level of player on.
We have touched on slightly about bringing on, obviously, Dan James and Solomon on at the same time.
Yeah. But I think it is. So it's a luxury being able to bring that level of player on, and it's nice having them back. There's still worries over fitness because we need to keep as many players fit as possible with such a thin squad. But the timing of the changes, the management of the game felt spot on. I would agree with AJ Law there.
Yeah. 68 minutes is usually around the time he starts changing things anyway. I mean, you can pretty much set your bloody watch to it, can't you, when he starts making substitutions. So, but we'll talk about the sub stuff when we're going to talk about Watford in a moment. Naj D. Fak should rotate Joseph and Perot depending on the opposition. So, now that we've talked about that, going into Watford on Tuesday then, do you expect to see any changes to the starting 11 from Friday, or do you keep it relatively the same? Is there anyone that you'd probably swap out? Do we give more time to Dan James or Solomon and take Aronson out? Like you say, you're saying he looked leggy from his transatlantic flight.
I think you just stick with what we started on Friday. We know Fark is a stickler for that as well. He's not going to change too much. If it's something that's working and it's working well enough for us to get a win, he's not going to change it, I don't think. I think, depending on how the game is going, he'll potentially give Dan James more time. Maybe 60 minutes onwards, perhaps, but I can't see him changing anything after that. Personally.
Gilly, would you make any changes?
I think a lot of it... Yeah, well, I think it comes down to availability, doesn't it? So if anybody's got a tweak, how they train between now and then, I don't think anybody would choose. As you've said many times, Mr. Smart, you don't change a winning team.
No.
So the fact that they were so imperious against Sheff United that I think it would be very harsh on anybody to, even Aronson, it would be very harsh on anybody to drop them.
Yeah.
I think it does give the fact that we were so good against one of the sides that a lot of people are expecting to be up there pushing for the league title. The fact that we were so good means that you can have that luxury of not having to change things. You're saying to your subs, you've got to work harder than the guys that are getting the start, and you've got to take your chance when it comes along. And for me, I don't think enough was done. Joseph got a goal. Yeah, great. And he did so well to take it. Pirot set him up with the run and the pass. And, so I think I agree with Karl. I don't think that unless it's an enforced change, you make anything there.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the only change that we will see, absolutely, is the fact that
shit!
For second yellow.
Was that 5?
Yellow.
I wasn't sure if it were 4 or 5.
Oh,
he
right, yeah.
misses. Firpo misses this game.
Okay, well, there you go.
Banned. He's got it.
Oh, no, hang on. Firpo's on 4 yellows, not suspended yet.
I don't think that's
I thought
right.
I thought we had 3 at the back that were going to be suspended.
Oh, is it
if they
1
got
yellow
booked.
away? Oh, he's only 4. Oh, that's okay. Then.
Okay.
So, yeah, largely then. Yeah, I agree. As you've said, I never change a winning team. I don't think it's the right thing to do, but I do believe that we'll see more substitutions made early. But you know, it's Farker, and he don't like to make too many early substitutions, does he? So we'll see, I suppose. But yeah, I'm kind of guessing that we'll see the same sort of team. So with that in mind, then I suppose we need some predictions. So the first prediction from the fans in the comments gets the fans' prediction for the game against Watford.
Go.
Type as quick as you can. Up, top banana.
Again?
3-0.
Top bananas in there. 3-0 Leeds with another easy win, he says. Or she. Top banana
We
could
don't
be
know.
a she. We don't know.
Could
this.
be.
Are you a he or a
Okay.
she? Are you a they or a them?
Jesus,
We'll
Wayne.
we won't go into that one. We'll
Check
avoid
Wayne's prediction here. He's
Wow,
obviously not
5-0.
getting it. Fucking hell.
that. Sweet baby Jesus of Nazareth. So who's at the top of the league, by the way? There
Well,
has been-
I've not
There
run
has
the
been some movement at the bottom of
I've
the
not
league.
run the
I
results
know.
since the Sheff United game.
Someone said the other week, don't trust Smarty because he's right down at bottom of the league. Unjustingly, by the way.
Unjustingly.
Unjustifiably, should I say.
Unjustifiably.
He's,
No, you were at the bottom of the league. You absolutely
I
were.
was at the bottom of the league. I have moved up a considerable amount of places, I would expect. With a cheeky 5
Did you
points,
get it spot on?
I got it perfectly.
Did you? Yeah, so I was top of the league. Whether that's changed now or not is to be decided by the master spreadsheet. But once I process the result, I guess it'll be me, and I'm going to go 3-1. 3-1 Leeds.
Interesting.
Karl, you'd be
You're
next.
probably still above me. I think. Possibly. Might be above me.
I'm going to go 2-0. I think a clean sheet's on the cards. 2-0.
Okay. And Mr. Smart.
I'm going to go 3-0.
As has Jay in the comments.
Jay has as well. Jay's gone 3-0. I don't know if I've seen Bryn.
Who's gone 3-0, has he?
No, I ain't seen what Bryn nil. Sorry, Jay has gone 3-0. Don't know what Bryn is. Johnny Brown says 2-0 as well, but you can probably catch up with all these.
Jay 3-0.
I don't think Bryn Johnson, who's probably sat in bed with a cup of tea, eating it out of a boxing
Brown.
glove.
Oh, Bryn's gone 4-0.
Fuck.
What's Johnny Brown gone?
2-0.
2-0.
See what I winning a little bit of confidence does to people. It's only 2 weeks ago that we were chuffing in a relegation battle, apparently, according to some of our fan base. Once we'd lost to Burnley. Oh, that's it. You might as well write us off at rest at you now. Job's fucked.
Danny's put 2-1 in there.
That's not Danny Nalp, though, is it?
No. Carl's just reading random comments out.
Yeah.
So, I have updated the table. I can do a quick run through if you would like.
Yeah, go on.
I am on 17 points, having picked up just one because I
have
went
to do
2-1.
everyone. Because it's fucking.
The order: me, Joe, Luke, Karl, Johnny Brown, Lockett, Jay, Lee Fryer, fans, Kevin James from the Not Another Leeds podcast together, then Bren, then Yank Hannah, and she loves that name, and Gail,
Hannah.
and then Mr. Smart on 8, and then Nalp Danny on 7 with Big Lou and Stats, and then Andrea on 6.
Boom.
What's the point? Like, how far am I off the top? I noticed I've dropped quite a bit there.
You're on 14, I'm on 17, so there's only 3 points there.
Sake. Right, okay.
Sorry, mate. I should be on 12, but I'm not. But anyway.
And you're not bitter either.
I'm not bitter at all.
No, not at all.
Do we have any other business? I think we're going to do a main podcast on Wednesday, aren't we? I believe you two are in attendance with the little halfling, Jay Cartier.
Is it?
I believe so.
The halfling, I mean... Is it any wonder he still does this fucking pod? Like,
Mate,
Trixie Hobbits is.
It were in Beer Garden at Peacock, and me and Luke are giving him some right shit on Friday night. In fact, I think he's got a picture of him doing a Buddha sat on a table. He actually does look like a Buddha.
Yeah. The body of a Buddha.
You know,
it's one of them statues.
The whole Harlan thing. Any other business chats before I close this one out?
Yeah, we've got a bit of an update from Andy's Man Club, haven't we?
Oh, go on then. I'll let you do that.
Yeah, so just give me 1 second, and I shall bring that up. So they are opening a 6th Leeds-based club.
Wow.
You're going to have to read that out.
Yes. The righteous one says, is it that twat with the top knot?
And yes, it is.
It's
absolutely
not really
is.
a top knot. It's just a ponytail, just a really small little ponytail, which, you know, as it sat on top of the head of a very small man, it suits him. Well, it doesn't suit him, obviously. It looks like a complete and utter Burke. But, you know, size-wise, yeah, it's all relevant. Anyway, Gilly, please carry on.
I'm just going to pop up the graphic here. So if you're going through a storm or just been through one, Andy's Man Club are talking groups for men to help you through those storms. You find out more on info@andysmanclub.co.uk or on the website andysmanclub.co.uk. And you can't read it particularly well because of the quality as I've uploaded it. But there are now 6 locations in Leeds where support is offered. So you've got... I can't read it there either. I don't know if it's my eyes.
No, it's just very small.
It is very small.
I had trouble reading it the other week. I was like, no, I can't read that. Someone else is going to...
Right, I've got it here. You've got Leeds Central, the College of Building, South Bank Campus, Leeds, LS10. You've got Leeds South at Vale Circles, Tunstall Road, Leeds, LS11. You've got Leeds Kirkstall at Milford Sports Club, Beecroft Street, Kirkstall. You've got Leeds Pudsey, G&H, Fairlands Mill, Pudsey, Leeds Seacroft at Seacroft Village Hall, and Leeds Morley is open from the 4th of November at Morley Fire Station.
Excellent stuff. Thank you very much. Mr. Dodo says, people with top knots belong on a gov.watch watch list.
Fair.
Certain registers, I assume. Someone called Deck Buckley, which is clearly either Karl or Jay's burner account, says, Jay and Karl is the OKB dream team. Fucking hell. Does he mean that's because they send you to sleep?
Oh, what a tosser.
What?
I don't know. Tosser.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They're the best of us. The most innocent and best of us, aren't you, Karl?
Ah, yeah. Pure innocent me. Pure innocent.
What a top set of lads. Right, thank you everyone for joining us this Sunday morning. It's been an absolute treat, as I'm sure you'll all agree. We're back on Wednesday for the main podcast. Like I say, Gilly, Karl, and Jay will be taking that one on. If you haven't done already, please subscribe so you can see more wonderful content from all 5 of us. But if we don't see you before or hear from you before, take care of yourselves. Hopefully we stuff them Watford bastards, and we'll see you sometime soon. Cheers, chaps.
Bye-bye.
See you, pals.